Hi, in this video we will learn more about Boolean function. Boolean function is a function that returns a Boolean. Let me take an example. I want to make a function that check if the number is even or not. So if the number is even, the function should return true. If the number is odd, the function should return false or zero. So Boolean is even. This is the name of the function. Usually we name the Boolean function is even, is odd, is greater than, is positive, like this. It's like as a question. This function will take integer n, and inside the function I need to check if n is even. I can do that by writing n modulus 2 or remainder 2. If the result of n modulus 2 is 0, then this number is even. So I will return true. If it's not, then I will return false. So this is now a Boolean function. How to call, before I call it, I need to do prototype. How to call it, I can make cout, and then I call is even. I give is even a value 7, let's say. So 7 is not even. It should return false. When I print it, it should print 0. And this is exactly what's happening. I also can use this Boolean function is even as Boolean expression. Like for example, I can use it in the if statement. If is even 9, I print cout even, else cout odd. So you can see that I use the function in the if statement because this function returns true or false. So if it's true, it will print even, and if it's false, it will print odd. In this case, it will print odd. So this was about the Boolean function. Let me now explain a concept, pass by value and pass by reference in the function. Let me give example for this concept. So I want to make a function, a void function called hi. This function takes as input integer num. It takes a number, and inside the function does not return any value because it's void. It just increase this number by 1. So now I will go to the main. I will define variable x equals to 5, and then I will call the function hi on x, and then I will print x. So now we want to see, does the value of x change? Initially it's high, 5, then I call hi. So now the num is 5, same value as x, and I increment number by 1. Now the question, does x increase or not? Actually in this case it will not increase. So when I print x, it will not be 6, it will be 5. I forget to make the prototype. So the value of x here will be 5. When I print it, it will not change. And the reason that when I call x here, I call it by value. So I only give this function high a copy of x. So the function high cannot change the value x because I only give it a copy of x. So it will not change the original value of x. If I want to change the original value of x, I need to change this function high and make it call by reference. How I can make it call by reference? I add this symbol when I define the input parameters. So in this case, when I define high, I said high accept a reference. A reference means that it has access to this variable that I pass to this function. So now when I pass x, I will get the address of the x, and then I can change the value of the x. It's like I received the original copy of x. So when I change it, it will change the original value of x. So let us run this code, and you will see now that the value of the x is 6. So this shows the difference between call by value and call by reference. So this thing is called call by reference, and the other one is called by value, and you can decide which one you want to use, depends on what you want. The last thing I want to explain in this video is the scope, something called the scope. So I have here in this example two functions. Okay. In this function, if I define a variable y, the scope of this variable y is inside the main function. So I cannot use it here. If I make y equal to 9, this is wrong. Why? Because y is not defined here. So I can only use y here, but I cannot use y in another function. Why is that? Because it's local variable. It's only defined inside one function. So I cannot use it in other functions. So this is called local variable. If I want to use it in more than one function, it's fine, but you need to define it outside the function, before the main. So this now y, I make it as a global variable, and the scope of this variable is everywhere in this program. So it can be called or used in all functions because now it's global. The same thing if you have a for statement, for loop. So inside this for loop, if you define a variable z, you can only use it inside this loop because it's local inside the loop. You cannot use it outside the loop. So if you try to make z equal 8, this will create a syntax error. So because z is not declared, mean is not declared in this scope. So it's declared inside the for loop, so the scope of this is only inside the for loop. The same like I. Here I is declared inside the for loop, so you can only use I inside the for loop. If you try to use I outside, you will get again an error. As you see, we get error. So to summarize, in this video we explain the Boolean function, we explain the difference between call by reference and call by value, and we also explain the concept of scope of the variable and the local variable and global variable. See you inshallah in the next video.